Hi folks, this is Vincent Adderley with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and once again we're going to play this War of Mine the board game. Day 11! Let's hope that we're nearing the end. Okay, new event. Ooh, ceasefire. Let's go ahead and add 2 cold tokens, even though it says 3, we've homebrewed it. 3 divided by 2 is 1.5, rounded up is 2. So 2 cold tokens. So we want to take care of that. The long-awaited ceasefire has finally agreed upon, putting an end to the fighting in Pagoran. Those who managed to survive the war in Graznavia would never forget it. Play this day to its end, including the dawn phase. Then resolve the epilogue. See 1000 in the Book of Scripts. All right, so this is the last day.
Oh.
There was 1 more card left. Yeah, so that ceasefire could have come up at any time. But it was in the middle there.
I see.
Okay, so...
Can you see it real quick?
Yeah, the ceasefire?
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh my god, it's so cool.
So I say we just batten down the hatches and just, like...
We don't even have to scavenge.
Yeah, we don't have to do anything. We just defend for the night. And then, like...
Yeah.
What do we have, first off? I mean, we have enough water. Okay, let's just think about this.
We have enough water, we have enough food.
We need to make sure that everyone's fatigue and all of that. Okay, I'm going to have everyone rest.
Yes.
1, 2...
We could sleep on the floor, right?
Yeah, at night we can. And we'll just do, say, 3, 4, just to get...
Poke about.
Actually, let's do 3, 4.
How about get rid of... Yeah.
Yeah. So these 2 will sleep. Red and orange and yellow. Fatigue and fatigue gone. We're going to poke about. It's a 1. We get 1 resource. I don't think it matters at this point. We'll take a component.
Sure.
Okay. And then the efficient heater will spend 2 wood.
Yep.
To get rid of 2 coal tokens.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That was 1 action. Action number 2 will have blue and green sleep. And these 2, what do you want to do with them?
Poke about.
Poke about. All right, so that's fine.
And maybe... Oh.
There's no point in building anything at this point. I know you wanted to build your stove. We have enough food to survive this day.
We do.
So...
Alright, that's fine.
Alright, we'll just poke about twice. 6 and 1.
So 3.
3 total. So 3 wood. 1, 2, 3.
Sure. Stack up for the end.
Yes. And
then everybody
fatigue.
about.
Yeah, and now everyone... I mean, there's nothing else to do. I mean... I guess we'll... You know, I'm just going to skip that, okay? We're just going to skip the 3rd action. We're going to go right... This is going to be a very quick video.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we're going to go right into... we're going to end our scavenging phase. Go right into dusk. 4 water. 1, 2, 3. And everyone can just eat a raw food.
Yep.
And that will reduce everyone's hunger by 2. Or by 1.
Silly, they don't have like a +2.
Yeah, really. But that's it. And then now we have to sleep in the bed. I'd say we just put everyone on duty for any night raids that come up that could screw us over. So that gives everyone a fatigue of 1.
Okay.
But that's fine because all we need is one party member, one original party member with stats of 1 or lower.
Yeah.
According to the survive card here.
That survive card is tough too because like if all your original party members died and you had like new characters.
Well, that's the thing. Like you can house rule it to where if all your original characters are dead, but you've got new characters, you can play it out to see what happens, but technically you still lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's.
So we're just going to skip the scavenging phase and go right into the night raid.
Yep.
So roll the die for the quiet night. Not actually 2 quiet nights. We'll see how this goes.
Oh jeez. Dude, should we take a look at it?
I don't think it matters. What could we possibly do? 1, it's quiet night.
Quiet night.
And then for the second one.
1.
Quiet night. Well, there you go.
We are ready for doom.
We are... Oh, that's it. That was the dawn phase. Oh, we have to do the draw fate. We have to draw fate cards.
Oh, that's right. 1?
Yep.
Okay.
Alright, fate card. Discard meds. Don't worry about it. Cold minus board ups is 2. Don't worry about that. And exchange the nearest small location. Nah. Wait, nah. Resolve spirit B.
Alright, spirit B.
Discard 1 cigarette to stop his misery from going up. Got it. If there is at least 2 cold tokens, no. Guitar in storage, everyone's misery goes down by 1. If any character in the group is miserable by 2 or 3, raise her misery. Nope, nothing there.
Miserable.
Now we would typically draw 2 narrative action cards, but we don't need to. We've survived. This is the end of the day.
The page 1000.
Page 1000, yes.
Ooh.
All right, let's go ahead and talk about page 1000.
Or script 1000, whatever.
Script yeah, okay. Cease fire. There was this journalist who risked his life, and he managed to capture exactly what happened here. He wasn't the only one, but only he succeeded in presenting material to the world uncensored. This triggered an avalanche, and suddenly news about the atrocities committed against our nation filled TV screens across the globe. Politicians from the most powerful countries and peacekeeping forces gave in to the pressure, and they finally acted against our aggressors. To everyone's surprise, all it took was a few minor interventions, and the soldiers started retreating. We cried tears of joy, and sadness mixed into the river that flooded across the city. Some said, "Why only now? You could have saved us earlier." Others just picked up what little they had left and went on looking now for their pieces on their broken lives. Now, you may now additionally use all food from the storage. Don't need to do that. You may now additionally use meds or bandages. This is so that you can get your objective met.
Done, yeah.
Yet, but all of our characters have 1 or less, so we don't have to worry about that. Resolve all scripts written on the save sheet in the epilogue section, if any. We don't have to worry about that. Check and resolve the final objective card. Did that. If you fulfilled the final objective, the playthrough ends with a success. In campaign mode, if only one started character had survived, you have succeeded, but barely. If 2 have survived, you success. If 2 have survived the success, if full, survive the success if full. Okay, that just doesn't grammatically make sense to me. Next is if 3 have survived, you have achieved something extraordinary. If you want to know the epilogues for particular characters who survived till the end, see 1001. Okay. If you won and you have fulfilled the final objective, you may check the point scale of your success. If you want to learn about different harder modes of play, see, okay, so we can read about if you want to see the individual people, it says 1001. Mm-hmm. So we have, this is going to be a long, okay, Boris. Misery is 0, so 1797. I'll keep this page marked. So with Boris, it is, okay. Boris overcame everything that the war had thrown at him and used his grit and strength to help others rebuild their lives. The memory of Anna's sacrifice and Luca's faith sustained him till the very end of his days. Next we had Emilia with 0 misery, 1197. 1197. Okay. Here we go. Amira survived the war. Struggling for her own life alongside others gave her strength, and she needed and helped her to believe in people once more. Against all odds, she found hope for a brighter future. A few years later, the first exhibition of her photographs was held. It was her first success and will surely not be her last. Next, we had Katya, who also had misery 0, C336. Why not put them all in the same area?
Yeah.
Katya used her contacts to find her parents in a refugee camp abroad. She brought them back to the city and helped rebuild their house. Soon afterwards, she published her war diary, which became a bestseller and drew widespread attention to the fate of civilians during the war. Zlata, C1212, with misery 0. Zlata survived the war and was reunited with her brother in Canada. It took her some time to adjust to her new life in North America, but she found a job and even resumed her music studies at the Royal Conservatory in Toronto. If we want to try and look at the point scale, see page or C810. So I guess we're going to get rated on how well we did. Seeing as how we homebrewed this.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, add 10 points for each character survived until the end, even for characters with 1 or more state level 3 tokens. Subtract the sum of the levels of all state tokens. For every state level 3, subtract another 10 points. For each of the characters who died or abandoned the group, subtract 20. If you still have some points left, this is the measure of your success at the end of the campaign. So 10 points for each character is 40. Mm-hmm. The sum of the levels of the state tokens, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 36 points in all, because we don't have to subtract anything else. So we got 36 points. as our final, but it doesn't say.
I thought fatigue didn't really count.
That's a
as
state. It is a state. And
is it?
Fatigue, hunger, wounds, those are all states. Yeah, so fatigue does count.
Well, how do you... That's weird, because when you end the game, you're guaranteed to always have fatigue. So
Not unless everyone sleeps at night, and then you just hope the night rate isn't bad.
But there's only 2 beds, right?
Right. But if you sleep on the floor, you lose 2, not all of your fatigue. Someone has to be on guard duty or the game ends.
Yeah.
So you're going to have, at best, 39.
Yeah, it's no possible way of having a perfect score.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Unless there was a way to spend an item to reduce fatigue, but I didn't see a way to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I missed that. So I think that was it. Yeah. So I guess we'll just do since the video is so short, we'll just do the final impressions here.
I was just about to ask if you wanted to do final impressions with this video.
Yeah, I think we're 10 minutes in. We might as well spend a couple of minutes talking about it.
Sure.
First of all, I will say I like this game. I like my homebrewed rules because normally I think this game would frustrate me to no end. The RNG in this game is so brutal that without any kind of help, your success rate is going to be dismal. So for those of you that are maybe tuning in for the first time and just looking for, what these homebrews were, I did not do the bottom one here, which is no chapter objectives, just a deck of events. So rather than having objectives, just have a deck of event cards, and that's it. Don't worry about chapters, just so you don't have to worry about the side objectives, like giving so much medicine. Mm-hmm. Also, I ignored the +2 and -2 for dice rolls requiring a minimum or a maximum, depending on the situation. I ignored that, because there were some ways to mitigate dice in this game with, say, books, for example, gave a +2 for the chair. But that is a thing that you could do if you want to get less RNG in your dice rolls. Mm-hmm. But we did characters start with 1 hunger instead of 2, half the cold tokens from events rounded up, no events on day 1. Also, for chapter 2, we did not do an event. We just drew the chapter 2 card. That gave us a day to sort of fix things, and then we continued on with the story. So you could add to this no events day 1, also add a no event for following chapter 2, immediately following chapter 2. Mm-hmm. Enemies do not roll and can miss. We did not, or cannot, or does not re-roll and can miss. We didn't fight in this game, so we didn't have to really worry about that too much. Heal in bed. We never had the opportunity to really heal in bed because no one ever really slept at night.
And no one got wounded.
Yeah, well, correct. Mm-hmm. We were thinking illness or wounds, but... I wasn't sure, like, illness and wounds both. There's a chance that you could heal if you were sleeping for the night. But we never got that because 2 or 3 people were always scavenging and one was always on guard. No one ever slept at night unless it was a true emergency.
When Katya was really sick with illness 3, I didn't realize you could just put her in bed at night and have a chance.
Yeah, well, that was a homebrewed rule I forgot about.
Oh, okay, I did too.
Yeah. 1 red card added to piles instead of 2 at the end of every round. We're talking about those residents and night raid cards that have the exclamation point on them. Yeah. Just add 1 instead of 2 to slow down the rate at which they enter the deck. Mm-hmm. And yeah, Quiet Night was the big one. On a 1 to 4, no night raid. On a 5 to 10, night raid. Mm-hmm. So I think those additional rules, it didn't make the game cakewalk by any means. There was still a couple of moments in there where I felt like this could be it, depending on the RNG. Mm-hmm. And I know you're dying probably to talk about this, so I'll move the floor to you. No, what were your initial thoughts, and did you have fun throughout it? Did it get worse as you played? Was it better as you played?
I had fun with this game. The beginning start is really, really tough. And like you said, it was really brutal, even with homebrewed rules, which is kind of crazy. But as we kept getting resources, it started getting easier, kind of like in the game. But I got frustrated more with all the instructions on one little card. There are so many decks, and the fact that there's so many things on each card, that's a little overwhelming.
It is.
And that's surprising to me because I love card games and I love where card games like do things. But this was a board game and a card game and a keep track game. And
a choose your adventure in a way because you're reading
the events book.
You love.
That is my only thing that I actually really, really love
the
about
book of
this game.
Yeah, the amount of it's got a choose your own adventure element to it. Look at all that.
Yeah.
Oh, here's the game components. I didn't even see that.
Where's the mechanical parts?
I'm sure.
4. Ugh.
Yeah, and probably only 3 coffee.
I don't like that. That's one thing I don't like.
Yeah, here's the thing about that. In the video game, locations do not restock typically unless it's like a location with a trader. So like you have in the video game, you're forced to, once you loot a location, very rarely do you ever go back for any reason. So like I wonder if the limitation of the tokens was to simulate that. Maybe. Because in theory, we kept going back to the same location, 14 explore. We just kept finding stuff over and over and over again. So I wonder if the whole idea there was, because in the video game things are limited, I wonder if they limited tokens for that same reason. But you're right, there were some issues where like I wanted to stock up on a bunch of coffee. 2 of our characters drank coffee during a one spirit event. So like we had to make sure that there was 4, like 3 was the max coffee. So like when we were down to 1, we had to try and find more just to prevent them from losing or from gaining misery. Yeah. I liked the locations. I like that, and we never did this, but you can remove exploration cards to learn about the area, and I like that some locations you can spend exploration cards to trade or socialize with people. I like that there were different cards referencing like open space or rubble or whatever. And as those cards came up in the exploration, or the unknown deck, I should say, different things would happen. I love that. I also like the different events. I like the cold idea, but again, I think it was too harsh by default. We didn't even get through all the visitors or the other characters. Like
I don't think we went through any visitors.
We did 2. One was
2. Oh yeah, that's right.
We drew 2. One was an arrival. There's a doctor in here. That's right. Reality impact. Please help us. More arrivals. So there were multiple arrival cards, people that we could have taken. I think your max that was 4. I think, like in the video game. And then the different characters that are in the game, we didn't see them all. Like the one with the black borders are like basic characters. The ones in red are like super characters. Oh, wow. So yeah, that's cool. I liked the idea of the fittings, even though I don't know why they call them fittings. They're just structures inside a building. Like, anyway, I feel like there's a meta there. Like why would you ever build the moonshine still? You know what I mean? In the video game, you could do that. It's not that efficient, but you could do it to make moonshine and use it as a bartering item. In this game, you never know when you're going to barter. So you're more focused on food, water, and misery. You know what I mean? So like, I feel like the meta is 2 beds, a chair for sure, a deadfall trap or a stove, one or the other, to help with food needs. And then the workshop so that you can get the boarding up, I think, was huge. Yeah. If I were to replay this, I would have focused on those more. And the efficient heater later on for the coal tokens. I can't imagine ever needing to build some of these cards. The rainwater collector I wanted. That would have been nice. But the herbal garden, maybe for medical stuff. That would have been nice. The radio, the moonshine still. I don't know. Like, I feel like I wish I had more resources and more time to build these things.
Maybe in like a campaign mode.
Maybe.
Right? I don't know. It was okay. This was such a story-driven game that I could not concentrate on because I was too focused trying to survive.
Yeah, too busy focused on what the next thing we were supposed to do. Yeah. And
I that was a real big turnoff because I wanted to do like the story type of stuff.
One thing I don't like is like the rule book is this big. The journal is the rule book, and it's maybe 5-6 pages. When you have a question on combat, you would flip to 900. It's in the book of scripts.
What?
This is extra rules for combat. So like 900, combat FAQ. Extra rules that were not in the journal are in here.
How did you know to find that?
It's in the journal.
It's in the rule book.
It says if you for the combat FAQ, go to 900. So rather than put this detailed information in the journal rulebook, they put it here as an advanced FAQ kind of thing. And what's worse, it's every 100. So here's 800. the Dawn Phase FAQ regarding Fate cards, alcohol, and then you go to 700, Night Raid Phase FAQ. So rather than put all of the advanced rules in one place where you can read them all, they scattered them throughout this book. And I don't understand, that just makes it even more confusing. I would have, if it were me, I would have put all of the must-know or frequently asked stuff on a couple of sheets in the back of either the journal or the book of scripts so that you could see everything all at once.
Yeah.
Like, compile the information and organize it in a way that's easy for the player to get to, rather than flip to 600 for this phase and 700 for that phase, and that just seems kind of silly to me.
Mm-hmm. The colors is too lackluster. It's hard to shuffle them. I don't like when there's a whole deck that's only 5 cards. I want something to actually shuffle.
That's just a minor complaint. Okay.
I want magenta and brown and orange.
Well, then you have to add all
yellow.
sorts of colors to these
That's
cards
okay.
here. Okay. Well, you're wrong, but that's okay. Now you're just nitpicky.
I know. But, yeah, it was okay. What do you think?
Well, one thing I liked about this compared to the video game is much more streamlined. However, in this game, I can see at all times what I've got. Mm-hmm. In the video game, when you're out scavenging, I don't think there's a way to actually check your inventory to see, like, let's say you want to build an upgraded stove, but you don't remember the parts you need or what you have at home. So, like, you have to first go to the wiki and go, okay, this is how many materials I need to bring back from the scavenging phase. So, like, at least with the board game, I can see what I have at all times, so I know what to aim for. With the video game, that information is, like, not present. You have to either look it up online, which breaks the immersion, or, you know, wait until you get home, write it down or commit it to memory, then on the next scavenging phase, get what you missed.
Yeah.
I like that all of the information is presented in one area rather than in the video game where you're hunting for it when you're in certain phases. I like that. I liked... what else did I like? The exploration deck was a bit rude. I mean, like, it was just...
Rude.
It was rude. Like, how did you feel about the whole noise thing?
It was whatever. I did not care for the exploration deck at all.
Really?
Yeah.
A lot of it is just roll for noise, or you found something, or... Yeah, majority. It seems like half or a third of the deck is good and half of it's bad.
Yeah,
is what it seems.
I like the characters. The minis are really cute. I love the character cards because it reminds me of that Zombie Diary game, which was actually kind of nice. The visitors are fine. It's very story driven, but I can't focus on it. It's a really brutal game. I'd rather play this game on the PC because I can just Alt F4 when I lose, whereas this one I have to flip the table and put everything away.
This game is not for the faint of heart. I'll just say that. It takes up a lot of table space. There are a lot of cards, a lot of decks, a lot of little rules to remember with, you know, fatigue and, you know, status effects, and I feel like this is a game I would play every now and again, but not something I would go out of my way to bring out. I would need to be in the mood.
Oh, the one thing I really hated is that everything is RNG. You cannot make bandages. You cannot make meds. I want it to be self-sustaining. I want it to be like where if I want to take a fatigue off, I can just do it, you know, but it would cost something. But you can't really do that. You have to wait until a certain phase. You have to wait until you scavenge. You have to wait until this. You only have a couple of actions to go to a place. I don't like that. I like actually being able to craft coffee or a book or something like that.
Now, the herbal station may let you do the meds, but not...
You need, like, a bunch of stuff.
Cultivate herbs, roll cigarettes, and prepare herbal meds. And then the moonshine still is just for moonshine. I wonder if I don't think coffee is something that you can make.
You cannot make coffee.
Obviously.
Which is so silly.
There's no coffee plants or anything.
Like, you should be able to have a coffee maker. You should be able to find linen to make bandages.
What I don't like is, like, if you are, let's say you're ill by, say, 2 or 3, and you only have 1 action, you cannot spend the medicine immediately to heal them. Yeah. You have to wait for the fate card to tell you when you can heal. And if that fate card doesn't always address healing. It'll say on there, let's see if I can find one.
Yeah, I remember complaining
Here
about
it is.
that.
Yeah, raise the illness of all characters who do not... Oh, ill character take any meds or herbal meds by 1. Discard bandage... So it doesn't say anything about healing anyone on this. It just says to raise the illness of anyone that didn't have a med token. But it didn't say to discard them and heal them. It's just you have to wait for the next fate card and hope that it addresses illness. It doesn't always do that. Mm-hmm. So that's another problem. I wish I could spend... Like with food, I wish I could spend medicine immediately. Mm-hmm. That way I have more actions for the day phase when I'm looking around.
This pokeabout is such BS. I hate it. There's trees out here. I want to go outside, use the outside thing, and hammer down a tree. But not roll for it. I want to actually just do it and get the wood.
In the video game, once you earn the hatchet, you can break furniture in anywhere you go. Even your house or a house that you visit or wherever. So I don't see why it couldn't be homebrewed to where if you have a hatchet, then maybe increase your pokeabout die roll by 4. Because you've got a tool to break down wood. You know what I mean? Something like that. You know what I mean?
You know, every game that we play, I'm always saying more dice, more dice. This one, I don't want any dice. Can you believe that?
Wait, really? How would you handle combat then?
I don't know. I have no idea. Throw the mini at them.
Yes, it's a flicker
game.
Okay, fine.
Or combat would be add how many board ups and weapons you have compared to their own.
That's a possibility.
I have no idea. But,
all right. Well, this game is enjoyable, but only heavily modified.
Yes.
That's how I feel about it.
It's weird. I like a lot of things about this game, but I do not like a lot of things about this game more so.
Here's my question to you. If this game feels like a solo that we cooperated.
Yeah.
We sat down and cooperated, but I feel like this is more solo. The more people you add to a game like this, the more you argue and the longer the game goes on. With a solo, it would go a lot faster because you're the only one making decisions.
Yeah.
My question to you though is, would you have had a more fun time playing solo? Or did you because I took the reins on a lot of the rules part of it.
Of course.
Did you have more fun with me managing the rules and you just focusing on the game? Or would you have more fun managing everything yourself?
I would have had more fun solo or... Because if I felt like an observer, and that's okay. But for this, brutal type of game, it was always, nail-biting. But in the worst kind of way, because I felt like we were gonna waste our time with it if we lost so badly. And there's so many stories, which really pisses me off, because for a story-driven game, why has it got to be so brutal? Why can you not win so easily so you can actually see all the content that there is available? And
that adds to the replayability of this.
Yeah, that's true. And maybe I would have had more fun with it solo, or maybe 2 people instead, and that way we can control 1 person each. Or if we do 4 people, maybe 2 peoples each. Grammar.
I guess in the rule book, what you're supposed to do is the rule of the first player goes around the table, and whoever has the journal is first player. And if there's a conflict on an action, the player with the journal makes the final decision.
I don't know.
That's how it's supposed to happen. But again, I feel like this game is better solo than it is co-op.
It is definitely better solo, I think. But I think it would have been more enjoyable too if we would just say, okay, I'm going here and I'm going here, and then you can do whatever you want.
That would bother the heck out of me.
Really?
Yeah.
We can discuss, sure. Kind of like in the Ghostbusters co-op or in any other co-op game.
Yeah, I guess.
The 5-year mission.
Okay, makes sense.
But, yeah, I don't know. I would have... Yeah, I don't know.
My biggest issue with the game really was the dice rolling. The RNG of the dice roll, the RNG of the explorations, the RNG of the fate cards. You never knew what you were going to get, and it bothered me. I was trying to plan and save things, but it's I get that the game is simulating real life and that it's unpredictable.
Yeah.
I totally get that. However, modifying dice rolls was very limited. Again, in some situations, if you had a book, you can modify the +2 on the chair. But what about other dice rolls where we were in the beginning of the game, we sat in the chair 3 or 4 times and failed the roll every single time. Mm-hmm. So you're telling me that a person that tried using the chair 3 times was just no longer miserable, like was just as miserable as they were before?
You gotta aim for books, I guess, and you can't even craft books.
Yeah, so like, I feel like the dice can really screw you in this game. What if you, I mean, it's a low chance, but what if you're always rolling low when you're rolling for noise, and you're constantly drawing residents, and you're getting your butt kicked by hobos or whatever's in here? There were soldiers and thugs and rebels. There we go. Rats, survivors. So there's all sorts of nasty people in here that could really screw you up. So again, it's a lot of RNG, and I just wish there was less of that.
I really hate the stuff that messes up the whole game for the rest of the whole game. Like this, that's BS. To actually draw and resolve 2 night raid cards from now on, I would have done that maybe the next 2 or 3 days. The one where you don't have any more raw food or any food at all the rest of the game. You have to take out a certain number of tokens. Again, I think that's crap. I think you should, maybe that could apply the next 2 or 3 days, but not forever.
Not for the rest. I think I saw an event card somewhere. Here are the event cards that we didn't end up using. Some of these are just BS. Harsh Winter. At the beginning of each morning phase, place 2 extra cold tokens here. Play this card permanently in the cold space.
What?
So there's a card that could be played in Chapter 1 or Chapter 2 that you have extra 2 cold tokens here for the rest of the... in addition to what you draw.
See, that's not enjoyable to me, because now you have to spend extra actions to go to the efficient heater, use up even more wood. Ugh, what about the chapter collectives? Are those expansions?
Those are the objectives. In our game, we had help the sick and taking care of ourselves as our 2 objectives.
Okay.
The other ones, staying fit. All characters' hunger must be 0 at the end of the chapter. Water delivery for local thugs. We deliver water to these people. Vegetables for refugees. Food for the hungry. Soldiers disarm the civilians. Discard a functional firearm from storage, and if you do that, you succeed. Yeah, so those are the other objectives that could have been in the game, but weren't.
If you roll a 1 outside, you get automatically died.
Yeah, if you go to check for visitors, if you roll a 1, the sniper shoots you.
And you just get killed.
You get wounded, yeah.
Oh, wounded, not killed?
Yeah, just wounded.
Okay.
But still, that's pretty nasty.
Okay, I thought you just get killed, like eliminated.
That would be awful.
Okay. As long as it's not that, then that's fine. I thought that said chapter collective, not chapter objective, so that was funny. Yeah, I don't know.
2 wounds. 2 wounds. If a
roll.
1 is rolled, the character placed here is hit by a sniper bullet and suffers 2 wounds.
See, that's another thing. They don't have like a hunger +2 or illness +2. It's always like up to a max. Like it's such a limited thing with such limited amounts of tokens, of food tokens. Like that's BS. I'm sorry. You want a horde of resources by the end of the game, I think. Like my Skyrim character's chest has thousands of items in it. Exactly.
And when I play survival games like this, I aim for the same thing.
I do get it though. Like you said, I get the realism, the dreariness of the whole game.
It's intended, but I think it was too much so. I think the difficulty is too variable. I think that's the main issue. Because it depends on dice rolls, it depends on events, when they come up, fate cards, the difficulty could be either like really easy or really hard. If you get a lot of good exploration cards and get a lot of resources, great. But what if you don't?
It's too brutal and too complicated.
It is complicated, yeah.
I don't know. There's so many things that turn me off in this game. Way more than the one thing I really did like about the game, which is the scripts and and I did like the characters and the minis. But okay.
Well, there you go, folks. I mean, I know I'm bashing it a lot. I'm gonna give this. I'm moderately happy with it, but out of 10, maybe a 6 or 7 with modified rules. Okay, but default, I'd be like, this is more of like a 3 or 4 for me because it's too hard. I don't like games with a brutal difficulty like that, especially as variable as it is. With the homebrewed rules, I can enjoy it a lot more, and I give it like a 6 or 7. It's cool. Don't get me wrong, I like it. But it's just like we had already talked about. There's just a lot of things that irk us. But
with homebrewed rules, I'd give it like a 4 or 5.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
Okay, well, that's fine. It's your opinion.
I
You're
feel
entitled
bad.
to it. So there you go, folks. This War of Mine. Hopefully you enjoyed the series. If you guys haven't already, subscribe to me on Twitch and YouTube. That way you can stay up to date with any new content I'm going to publish. This is Vincent Lee. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you all next time.
Bye, guys.